Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I've been going through a series of video presentations for the Rankin Technical College AWD Application and Web Development 1111 .NET Framework with Web Databases class. The main book for this class is what you see on your screen, ASP.NET MVC with Entity Framework and CSS by Lee Naylor. The problem with this book is although it has some really good code, a lot of times the explanations for the code I don't think are as good. And it's not that it's a bad book. The man is immensely talented. So what I've decided to do first is to go over much of the professional ASP.NET MVC5 book by John Galloway. So far I've gone over Chapter 1, Getting Started, Chapter 2, Controllers, Chapter 3, Models, Chapter 3, Views, Chapter 4, Models, and Chapter 5, Forms and Helpers. I'm going to do 6, 7, 8, 9, then skip 10, 11, 12, and 13, do 14, 15, and 16, and skip 17. So it's time for Chapter 6, Data Annotations and Validation. So as you can see in this chapter, using data annotations for validation, creating your own validation logic, and using model metadata annotations. As mentioned here on page 137, validating user input has always been challenging for web developers. All right, not only do you want web validation logic executing in the browser, but it must also run on the server. Oftentimes it's the same code or very similar to the same code. The client validation logic will give you instant feedback, which is basically what users expect today. The server validation is in place because you should never trust anything coming in from a network. It's possible that a user has turned off JavaScript, for example, or has figured out a way to circumvent JavaScript. We mentioned when you look at the bigger picture, however, you realize how logic is only one piece of the validation story. You need to manage the user-friendly error messages associated with validation logic. Sometimes the software that's provided will end up giving you error messages that are terse. In other words, there may be a few words that spit out and the end user may or may not understand what it is they're trying to explain. If validation sounds like a daunting chore, you'll be happy to know that the MVC framework can help you with the job. This chapter is devoted to giving you everything you need to know about the validation components of the MVC framework. All right. When you talk about validation, you are primarily focusing on model values. All right. Did the user provide a value that was required? Is it within range? Is it the right data type, etc.? As mentioned here, the ASP.NET MVC validation features can help you validate model values. It says they are extensible. You can build custom validation schemes to work in any manner you require, but the default approach is a declarative style that uses what are referred to as data annotations. You'll notice that if I come up here and I go in and I type in ASP.NET data annotations, that it gives me a lot of stuff, including right here from the Microsoft Developer Network, where they show the different annotation classes. I've never taken the time to count all these. If you told me what, there's 30 or 40, I'd believe you. In this chapter, we will see how data annotations work with the MVC framework. We will also see how annotations go beyond just validation. They are a general purpose mechanism that can be used to feed metadata being data about data, to the framework. And the framework not only drives validation from the metadata, but it also uses the metadata when building the HTML to display and edit models. Annotating orders for validation. Well, so far in our music store, I don't believe we have the ability to go and order stuff. This is, what's shown here is pretty much what we have. We've got album, we've got artist, we also have a genre, and we've got the music store db.cs and the music store dbinitializer.cs. So the author says we need for some shopping cart procedure will require payment and shipping information. In this chapter, we learn about form validation by looking at some examples using the shopping cart scenario. Again, we'll continue to use this stuff. To add support for a shopping cart, we'll next add an order class to the models directory. So let's just grab everything that's here, copy it to the clipboard. There's even more on the next page, as you can see. So we want to come in and create an order class. So we're back to code. There's some, and let's finish that up from the next page here. This is not all that different from some of the other classes that we've looked at previously. Let's leave this up here. Not sure what happened there. Huh. Don't know if that's right now or not. Let's see. Set, date, time, user, first name, last name, address, state, strings, postal code, country, phone. Well, I don't know how that got goofed up. That's probably something I did. But let's just fix it. It looks so much cleaner. Again, if I want to, I can pretty this up a bit. And that'll be fine the way it is. Now, looking at this, as the author mentions on page 139, some of the properties require user input, such as the first name and the last name, whereas the application derives other properties from the environment or looks them up from the database, such as the username, because a user must log in before checking out. In order to focus specifically on the form validation topic, this chapter covers a scaffolded order controller, which is strongly typed to the order class. We'll be examining the views order edit.cshtml view. All right. Not sure why we're getting the error there. I mean, I am. We don't have that defined, but I don't think they told us to define that before. So they want us to right click on controllers, choose add controller, and they want this to be an MVC5 controllers with views using Entity Framework. They want this to be called the order controller. Let's start up here with the model class will be order. You know what? I don't think that's going to work. I'm wondering if, well, I don't think that's the reason I'm getting this error, but I am going to go and build the solution. I don't think, though, that's why I'm getting this error. It says the namespace for order detail cannot be found. Okay, so let's see if this works or not. It is showing order. Well, that's good. It's our music store. We want these. And this should be called order controller, not orders controller. Correct? Yes. Alright, so it now looks virtually the way that it does on page 139 in the text. I'm getting that error. And it says try rebuilding the project. It's because of this. So let's cancel that. Again, I'm getting that order details. Not sure if what I'm about to try will fix this or not, but I'm going to try it anyway. So project, view, other windows. Let's go to NuGet Package Manager console. Let's do an add migrations, and I'm just going to call this order detail. Great. Oh, it might be add migration, not add migrations. Well, it says it failed to build. I'm guessing it is because of this error that's right here. Just wondering, I'm trying to look through here to see if I've missed an order detail. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to try this. I don't think this is going to help me much, but I'm on page 139. And it's showing me that that's the first place that this is being accessed. Previous? Is there a previous? It's going back to the beginning of the book and it hasn't found it, so I'm wondering why I'm getting that. Alright. Now, is there an easy fix for this? Well, of course, there's always an easy fix for just about everything. And to show you the easy fix, whether this is a good fix or a bad fix, probably the easiest way to try to rectify this is to just comment that line out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over to here, just grab that line, comment it out. Alright, now I get no errors. I could do a migration, but now I don't think there's a need to. But I am going to save all, build, and I'm going to build my solution. I should not get any errors now in my output window. It should build just fine. Okay, now I should be able to come back up here, right mouse click on controllers. Didn't make my order controller. Looks like it did make an order controller. Oh, that was my order controller. I'm going to remove this order.cs. Try to rebuild it. Maybe that's a mistake, I don't know. But I'm going to grab all of this, even the one I'm commenting out, copy it to the clipboard, come back here. Oh, that's my model. I'm sorry. That's what I want. Here's my orders. Right mouse click, add, controller, MVC5 with entity, views and entity framework. This will now be model class order. That's right. That's all correct. And this is not the orders controller, but the order controller. Click add. It should work now. All right, there we go. So I did what they told us to do here on page 139. The only thing I did not, or I had to do first, was to comment out this line right here. All right, so I've done that. Then I was able to come in here and add that order controller. Next, run the application. So let's save all. Let's run the application. I am already at 17 minutes, so I won't go too much farther in this particular lesson. And once we do, they want us to iterate or navigate over to order/create. All right. And order date, username, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, city, state, postal code, country, phone, email, total, create. All looks good to me. As it says, the form has some visible problems. For example, you do not want the customer to enter an order date or the order total amount. The application will set values of those properties on the server. Also, although the print labels may make sense to a developer, they're a little ugly. That could be 2 words, that could be 2 words, that could be 2 words, etc. For now, a more serious problem exists that you can't really see in here, as the author mentions on the top of page 141. The problem is the customers can leave nearly the entire form blank and click the Submit Order button at the bottom of the form. The form will not tell them they need to provide critically important information like their name and address. That's what we're going to fix next. So let's stop the run here, jump back into this. I don't care about this right now, so close that. And so again, we just talked about some of the problems here. We want these to be split up into 2 words, etc. We don't want it, we want whatever feels like name, first name, last name, address will probably have to be required fields. The scaffolded form does not automatically require the 2 non-string properties order date and total. More on why those work in just a minute. So we'll pick it up under the using validation annotations in just a couple minutes with part 2 of this lecture.